Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I was 48 years old when my dad first said to me, "You do a pretty good job as a dad." Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. And I'll never forget walking out the door with him after he had spent the entire day, most of the evening, and late into the night at our home for Christmas time. And all the kids were gathered around, all of my 4 kids who were young adults and all of their significant others and all of their children. And there were 20-something of us in the house at that point. And after the evening was over, the kids had played card games, and my dad and I sat on the edges and watched them have such a great time together. All the grandkids were jumping in my lap and all that. We walked outside, and my dad looked at me and he said, "I'm not sure how you learned how to be a dad like that. Those kids just adore you, and the grandkids too." He said, I don't know how you learned it, because I know I didn't teach it. I wasn't around. And my dad didn't teach me any of that because he didn't know who his dad is. But he said, "I'm proud of you, and I want to spend more time around you and your family like that." And that was probably the best Christmas present I've had pretty much ever. But let me just say this. There are a lot of people who are wrapped up in leadership, who are wrapped up in the idea of becoming a strong entrepreneur and launching a company and building a business and building a financial legacy and building up big fat bank accounts. And I get it. I get it. When my kids were really young, I was a horrible father because I was so devoted to 50 or 60 or even 70 hours a week at work. At work. I got a job in '99 at Verizon when my youngest one was only a year and a half old. And for the next 10 years of their lives, I worked 50 to 60, sometimes 70 hours a week, sometimes 3 weeks at a time away from home for my job, leaving mom to homeschool them and raise them on her own. Sure, I provided a good paycheck, but I didn't provide much of a fatherly influence. And when I was home, I was either so stressed out or so busy with other stuff, I didn't do what I could do as a dad. I look back now and I realize that I've been blessed beyond measure for the relationship that I do have with my kids. It's not perfect, but I have an 18-year-old who would sit in my lap for his birthday, even though he was 9 inches taller than me. He sat in my lap. I have the picture on his 18th birthday of him sitting on my lap. That's priceless to me. The relationship that I have with my kids now is a lot better than it was 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago because I've invested time in building it. Am I building a big fat 401k? No. Am I building a big fat retirement plan? No. Because I know this. When I leave this life, none of that financial stuff goes with me. But the relationship that I have with my kids will last forever, and it will be passed down to their kids. And I can tell you better than any endorsement that I can get from a client, any review that I get from a client, any check that I get from a client, while all of those are greatly appreciated, feel free to send them. Here's what I value more than anything else. When I walk in the room and my grandchildren run to me, and my dog and my kids' dogs run to me because I'm the kind of person they want to be around. More so today than even yesterday, and hopefully more so tomorrow than even today. But see, that's my greatest ambition as a leader, to be the kind of influence, the kind of impact that you see in those soldiers returning home videos. I share them every time I see one. It doesn't even matter who puts it together. When I see kids jump out of their chairs at church, at school, at graduation, at soccer games, at tournaments, and run to their parents to acknowledge their return. That, my friends, is a leadership win. And I don't care what else you accomplish in business, in finance, in 401ks, and in retirement plans. He who dies with the most toys does not win. Especially if it was at the cost of all of those relationships and all of those lives you had a chance to pour into and you failed to. Now, if you want to see ultra success in my book, it's not just your immediate family and your friends and their friends. It's when it extends to the next layer. When you're the kind of person that walks into the room and other people go, "They're here." Not because you're a celebrity, but because they know that you care about them and you're here to pour into their lives, to make their lives better, to invest in them, because you've invested in yourself being that kind of person. That, my friends, is leadership. As John Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. I'm Loren Norris for Leading Leaders Podcast on Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Leadership team. If attitude is going to have a deep impact on your business and bottom line, make it a positive attitude with a positive impact. Visit jlorennorris.com/attitude hack